Hey everybody, it's Melissa and we're at the end of August, so I'm going to be giving you my top 5 favorite fragrances for the month. These are the ones that I've used the most. I'm going to be very honest and transparent with what I think of them, and this is not a sponsored video, all right? All thoughts and opinions are my own. In 5th place, we have Vibrato by Suspiro, and this is actually a fragrance I brought with me on a weekend getaway that I had recently. And it wasn't the bottle that I brought. I actually had, excuse me, I had the sample vial of it. And this is a powerhouse citrusy fragrance, all right? This scent gets a lot of comparisons with Tigar by Bulgari. I have never tried that fragrance before. I have tried Arrakis and Afternoon Swim, and it goes within a similar vein. But what I don't like about Vibrato is the fact that there's some powderiness to this fragrance, all right? Yes, it's citrusy, but that powderiness and sometimes the florals, like it has jasmine, it has magnolia, those I don't really get with. With this type of DNA, I just want like a straightforward, fresh, citrusy fragrance, but I understand why this is so loved in the niche fragrance community because it adds those levels of complexity to it. So if you're somebody that likes a little bit of a twist to what would be just a typical mass appealing scent, then I think you're gonna like this. And I have worn it a few times, and I'm actually gonna circle back to this fragrance later in the video just to make a quick comparison with something else on this list. But overall, performance here, over 8 hours, no problem. With the sample that I had, I was only doing about 2 to 3 sprays, and that thing was pushing. Like, it was lasting. This is definitely, especially with this full-size bottle right here, I wouldn't have to go past 2 sprays of this scent. I don't have to do the full 5 because it's gonna be a bit too overwhelming for me. So this is one of those instances that less is more, all right? So this, a good scent, but do I find it to be like a favorite of mine where I'm gonna be recurring, like grabbing for this like nonstop? Probably not. This is something that for the month of August, it was a standout out of all the other fragrances I have in my collection because I wanted to use it to see how it was, but I feel like it's gonna be a short-lived fragrance for me. That's just my assumption, but who knows? Maybe I'll occasionally grab it from time to time. But yeah, 5th place, Vibrato, Suspiro. In 4th place is Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. And this shocked me because we're in August. This is known to be like the hottest month of the year. Why on earth would I be pulling for a sweet fragrance? But there's just been so many things happening this month. And this scent was something that I was looking at my collection and I'm like, what am I gonna wear to this event? It was another weekend trip that we had. I was like, should I go with my typical freshies? Like, y'all know I love Elysium, right? But I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be a nighttime event. Let me go for something a little bit sweeter because a lot of people are wearing a lot of the freshies right now. Let's just see how it is. And great scent, all right? Tobacco Vanille, fantastic sweet fragrance. Still something that it kind of shocked me. I'm still kind of shocked about how much I use this fragrance this month because I've probably used this fragrance more this past month than I did all of last year. No, that's a lie. I used it a pretty good amount last winter and last fall. But Tobacco Vanille, it smells like a gingerbread house, smells like a chai latte. It's something that has a lot of people in a chokehold. A lot of people love this scent. They go feral for it. I'm the type of person that doesn't go feral for this fragrance. I enjoy it, but when people smell it on me, it gets even better reactions, if that makes sense. And this very unisex fragrance, Vibrato as well, is a unisex fragrance. Anybody can pull either of these scents off. So, 5th place, 4th place. In 3rd place is, oh man, I think 2nd and 3rd place kind of do a bit of a, like, they swap. Hey, you know what? Let's be realistic. So in 3rd place is Elysium. I feel like every video I make that you guys see Elysium, the juice just gets lower and lower and lower. And the thing is, this fragrance, not only do you know that it's like a staple of mine, ever since I've had it, it's been constantly in my rotation, but it's something that is not a less is more fragrance. This is something that I probably apply between 5 to 7 sprays of, maybe 8, I'll say between 5 to 8 sprays depending on where I'm going. And it's just a dumb reach fragrance for me at this point. I love this scent. It smells like a lemon pineapple cocktail on me. Note-wise, it's grapefruit and juniper berry. So just be cautious of that. This is not a clone of Sauvage. This is not a clone of Aventus. I hear that so much. It's not a clone of Cedrat Posé. I feel like that word is thrown around so much whenever there's something that smells fresh and is mass appealing. You know what I'm saying? So Elysium is more of a masculine fragrance, but I don't go smelling Elysium and being like, oh, that's Aventus. You know what I'm saying? I think so many people, they miss, I don't know, there's a lot of people that want to try this fragrance that haven't, because they've been swayed a lot by online opinions saying that it just smells like Sauvage, when to me they smell very different. So that just leads me back to the point that if you want to try something, go try it. It does not matter what the internet thinks. Even for me, you heard me not as big a fan of Vibrato. I mean, I like it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try it if you want to, you know? So stand up for yourself. You got it, all right? So Elysium, people dog on the performance. The performance on me does well, all right? This one, I still smell it on myself past 7 hours, and I apply both on skin and on clothes. So there's really nothing to hate about this scent. I've tried the Intense, and it does not even hold a candle to the Parfum Cologne. I really, really want to try the Parfum, the Pour Homme Parfum. I think that's what it's called, because so many of you have told me about it. But this one right here, I'm gonna have to restock on it. Like, it's coming to that point that when I spray it, sometimes things aren't, like, the sprays aren't actually coming out because of the way the bottle's tilted, right? So I'm like, dang, I gotta re-up. So Elysium, 3rd place. In 2nd place is Aquaood by Precious Liquid. This fragrance is going to take a while for, it's gonna take a while for the dent to be noticed, in my opinion. That's just how I'm taking this, because this scent I only do 2 sprays of. And all the fragrances that I've done 2 sprays of that I've had for a long time barely have noticeable dents in them. And of course, when I talk about them, people are like, well, do you even like that thing? Like with, not Cedrat Posé, or was it Cedrat Posé last year? I was talking about it, I'm like, this is one of my most used fragrances. And they're like, no, it's not. That thing's barely cracked. But it's like, it is, but I only do 1 or 2 sprays of it. You know what I mean? But then again, I don't need to over-explain it on the internet. Y'all know what it is when you have a powerhouse scent. So Aquaoud has been the most surprising summer fragrance for the past couple months, just based on the name alone, because it says oud in there. And typically oud fragrances aren't something you reach for in the summertime. But this, I've worn it when I've worked out. I've worn it at lunches, brunches, dinners, parties, events, whatever it is, nighttime sort of situations. People love it, and I love it. This just took me as a shock, because when I first smelled it, I'm like, oh dang, it's like shampoo fresh. And then it just gets better and better as it dries down. So for all of you niche heads, I think you're gonna enjoy this fragrance. For all the people looking for a mass appealing scent, I'd probably throw Blue Agave your way if you want a more masculine fragrance, Rose Blanche or Turquoise Water your way if you want something more on the feminine side. This one is very unisex, but even though I say it still has an interesting sort of complexity to it, when I have worn this around people and they've smelled it on my neck, they have loved it. And these are people that are not into fragrances. And I'm talking not just people that I know in person, but strangers, like one-time encounters where someone at the grocery store or at a restaurant would just tell me that I smell good. So this fragrance, it does have good projection. We're talking about maybe an arm's length and a half of a distance. It has a great scent trail, especially if you do more than 2 sprays. For me, when I wear this fragrance now, I just do 2, 1 behind each shoulder blade, so I have that scent trail. But sometimes if I do want to if I want the full, I'll just do 1 behind each ear in the back of my neck. I'll just do it on skin, but you can mix and match, do whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. But this thing lasts. It's a fragrance that I still smell on me the next day when I wear it on skin. And I'm in the shower trying to scrub it off. So it holds to me really, really nice. And this has gotten a lot of positive feedback from a lot of you that have went to go buy it. And I know that I've gotten so many DMs from people that have also gotten just nonstop compliments from this fragrance right here. So it's such a banger. I will say, majority of the compliments that I've been getting with this fragrance have come from women. I would say it's at like a 92 to 7, not 7 to 8% guys, 92% women. But I will say I have been hanging around more women. But lately it's been kind of 50-50. But yeah, the ladies have been loving Aquaood. It's just like, it's one of the scents that you go in for a second, third sniff after the initial one, right? So you're talking to me, and then there's like, oh, that's nice, and they'll smell like that. Like, oh yeah, like what is that? That's so good. And then the second one, and then like another hug. You know what I mean? So great scent. Now, in first place, making its name back in my throne is Afternoon Swim by Louis Vuitton. In fact, I'm gonna spray this again. All right. And you know what? This has been a typical occurrence. When you hear me, oh, it's so good. When you hear me talk about Afternoon Swim, I don't know if I mentioned, you know what? No, I don't have to mention that. Afternoon Swim it's a citrusy fragrance. I was gonna, if you were wondering what I was gonna do, I was gonna try to go through a note breakdown of the fragrances and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know what? Y'all have heard me talk about that enough. Anyways, this scent, what I've noticed with my pattern of it is when I smell another fragrance that people compare it to, in this case, Vibrato by Suspiro. I always try this. I enjoy it, right? I enjoyed this fragrance. But I'm like, let me see how I like it after wearing Afternoon Swim. So I'll wear Afternoon Swim the next day. And then it's just a no-brainer. It's like Afternoon Swim blows it out of the water. The same way this blew out Arrakis. It's just, to me, it's gonna be very hard to dethrone this fragrance with the type of DNA that it has. It has so many competitors. And like the thing is, I have high hopes for Tigar. I truly do. People are like, oh, it's so great, but I'm also kind of being cautious, right? Because a lot of the people that love Tigar that tell me that have been majority guys. I don't think there's been a single girl that has told me that, right? So I'm just like, it might be one of those things that I'll smell it and I'll like it, but it's not going to supersede this one. It's going to be more of like a guy's guy type of scent. You know what I mean? Where dudes are like, oh, this is masculine. I love it. But this is like a very unisex fragrance, but a little bit, you know what? It is, I would say it goes a little bit more on the masculine side, but I have had women that have smelled this in my collection that are like, oh, this is so good. I want to wear it, blah, blah, blah. But Afternoon Swim, I've said this so many times, is like sex in a bottle. It's just simple, classy, gets the job done. It's just everything you need in a fragrance, especially when you go buy a scent and you're like, I want something that I can't stop smelling myself. I want something that when I smell it on me, I fall in love with myself. That is the type of fragrance Afternoon Swim is. It just gets better the more that it wears on your skin, even if you wear it on clothes. It smells better when you're in the high heat. Like yesterday I was working out and I was wearing this fragrance and it was honestly towards nighttime already. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, this on me, it does last over 7-8 hours. So that is just a very subjective thing. I get great performance with this scent, but I do not speak for everybody else because I know a lot of people get poor performance with this fragrance. But for me, I was working out and I was just like, I could smell Afternoon Swim just kind of mixing with like how, you know, when your body kind of heats up, and it was so good. You know, and with the weather and temperature that I live in, which is mainly very decent weather year round, pretty warm, 70s, 80s, it's the perfect fragrance for me. So this has just made a resurgence. Thanks. I did 3 sprays already, but I want to just kind of double up on that. And I like the sprayer of this fragrance too. So there it is. This is my number 1. I have yet to try Ombre Nomad. So many of y'all have told me to try it. But this dent has been there for a while, but my biggest dent maker fragrance has been Elysium out of everything so far. All right, so let me know in the comment section what your top 5 favorite fragrances of the month were or are, because we're still in August. All right, I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.